Hello and welcome back to another exciting video. This is personal art, and spoiler alert, I will be talking about random Twilight Zone episodes. So the show is like 1,000 years old, but if you wanted to watch it or whatever, that's your warning. So and then proceeds not to talk about Twilight Zone episodes. I have new Sepa pens, but these are the old ones, so we're gonna see if we could get something done with these. I already made a fatal mistake, but that's fine. That is alright. And the reason why it's a fatal mistake is because there's no coming back. But there's a few Twilight Zone episodes that I've been seeing because I've been watching the series again, and for the most part, I would say that I don't like the Howling Man. I don't really like that episode too much. I don't like the one episode with the car salesman. I don't like the episode where the girl is a daughter. One of my favorite ones, or the daughter is a robot. One of my favorite ones is the camera, the one that can predict the future. I really like that episode. It's so stupid. It's I guess, wife and husband crime syndicate or crime duo, and they knock off places and stuff like that. And I think that that's pretty funny. That's SB58 for this. Terrible, but I think it's kind of funny because the brother in the same episode breaks out of jail. He breaks out of jail and somehow finds the exact hotel that they're at. Right, little bro breaks out of jail, finds the exact hotel that they're at, and then is holed up with them because the camera predicted that he was gonna be there. And obviously they go on a criminal crime spree of cheating mostly. Oh, what can we do with a camera like this? So they go to the racetrack. Obviously, every time there's some sort of tool, people always go well, money, which is fair, but it's just always so funny. It's always yeah, let's use this power to gamble, which is funny because it contrasts, or not even contrast, it's the same thing, and the more if you still watching this video, there's gonna be spoilers about the 4400 series, the original, not the remake, because I have not seen the remake yet. I'm watching the original for the first time on that Tubi platform. But the funniness of that is there's a character that can predict the future, and one of the characters started using them to gamble, and it's is there something with the future where they're oh, you gotta gamble? That one was SB56, and now we can color. I'm not gonna erase. We're just gonna do this. I wish I would have sharpened these last night, but I didn't. I got lazy, so this might not be as good as it can be because of that. But yeah, they wanted to use the camera to gamble, and the camera only has three pictures you could take, apparently, something like that, or 10 pictures, something like that. You only have a certain amount of pictures, and I guess the last picture is the demise of you for using the camera. So I feel the best thing for you to do is use it a couple times, probably if you're trying to get rich, and then after that stop using it or hide it or something. But I don't think people have that type of self-control. And then the other one that I really like too is the one with the genie. where the guy and the wife, they're like, struggling to get by, and then this genie comes along and it starts to it gives them three wishes, and but all the wishes have like a caveat or like a bad ending, and it's like it's funny because it's like there's wishes that they could have wished for that didn't have a bad ending. Like, you got to be very specific, and I feel like since they weren't, they were beat over the head. He knows that he plays you like a fool, and if you wanted to, like, because they ended up wasting all their wishes anyway, so like they should have just wasted one wish to say, like, I wish that we knew how to wish so that we don't get any bad side effects, and that would have been permissible, allegedly, but they didn't wish for that, and they didn't even get that done, so it didn't matter. It's like, how's that fair to do that to them when they just want to, like, and it wasn't like they were like bad people or anything. It was just like they got screwed over with their wishes. Like, they wished for like $1 million, and they was just giving it away to the neighborhood because, like, they were just trying to help the neighborhood out, and then the IRS came and they got in trouble, and they owed the IRS money, and they ended up with just $5 out of $1 million because they were being so generous. And I think that at its core, there's a lesson there that is like kind of messed up. Whereas, like, they didn't wish for $1 million and then just like pocket all the money. They wished for $1 million and gave it away, and then the bad thing happened to them, which is like, well, how's that fair? It was just all like bad, and it was like teach them to be grateful for what they got, which is debt. They got debt. They can't pay their bills. They barely can eat. And they're not making any money. Like, what are we supposed to, like, what was the lesson in that? Like, oh, be happy with what you got. Like, they didn't have nothing. They literally had, like, they had each other. Okay, like, the problem that they had wasn't that they hated each other, that they were ungrateful for one another. The problem that they had was that they are broke and they need money, and the pressure that they need from not having the money was killing them. So it's like kind of backwards, but maybe I'm just not seeing the bigger picture. Maybe I'm just not acknowledging the serendipitous event there. But I think that it was a bit weak in that regard. Like, they just wanted money so that they could take care of themselves and help their neighborhood. Even like just help people. Like, and the most like craziest thing that they wanted to do with the remainder of the money that they had was go to Europe, which they deserve a vacation. It looked like the characters deserve the vacation. Like, we just observe the characters, they look like they deserve the vacation. They look like they are just nice people, and I don't understand why it made it like the resolve of it was like, oh, they're just not grateful. At least that's what I picked up, is that they like made it seem like, oh, they weren't being grateful enough. It's like, why? Like, how is it possible that they weren't being grateful enough? I feel like they were just struggling, and they wanted to be able to get by or get ahead, and I don't see how feeling that way is particularly a bad thing in that situation, where they are selfless. They don't do too many things for themselves. A lot of their actions are in the basis of to help the others and to give back to the community, it seemed like. So I don't know, I just felt like it was like a weak lesson to learn. I also do like the Mars episode of the Twilight Zone, where the guy's scared to go, and the other guy is like really excited, and then they crash land, and then they start helping the dude because he's scared to go out, and he thought that they were like nice, and they butter him up, and then they put him on display like he's like an animal. And then he's like, "You were right, Moccasin. People are the same all over." And I thought that that was like really funny because like, you know, it's kind of messed up. Like people will just sell you up to they'll just sell you up because you're they want to just be weird. Not weird, but like it's and they don't have compassion. That's what they say is like I guess people are impassionate or are not yet impassionate. Like they're not compassionate to others to a certain degree. And I thought that that was pretty funny. I thought that that was pretty amusing in that regard. But you know, you just gotta you just observe those things and you realize that you have people are the same all over. I wouldn't necessarily say that I agree with the overarching message, but I don't disagree. I feel like if you agree with that, unfortunately, what happens is that it's a very like cynical takeaway, and it's hard to acknowledge anything when it's if it's like the resolve is going to be that cynical. It's like a cynical takeaway saying that people are just bad no matter if they're human or not. And I can't agree with the nihilism of that, but you step away from that for a second. I think that the resolve in that situation could be I think that the resolve in that situation could be a little bit interesting in the potential that it's funny. The potential of it is funny. And it creates, like it's like a little bit funny because it's like the guy is like scared and then his like fears are justified, which I don't know, maybe it's some like Cold War thing. Maybe it's like Cold War propaganda. I don't know. It's hard to assess. I'm not really good with deducing the information presented in front of me sometimes. So it could be like Cold War stuff. You never know. It could be. But there's always like, there's always something going on. There's always something going on in the Twilight Zone. Those are a few of my favorite episodes that I've seen so far. Again, during this sitting. A lot of the other episodes kind of just be on as like filler. Oh yeah, I like the gambling one where the guy is like I don't like to gamble. I don't like gambling. Gambling is bad. And then his wife is like, let's have fun, Walter. And she's enjoying the gambling. She's having fun. And then he wins. And then he becomes hooked on the gambling. And it's just like, it's so funny. Like, it's not like gambling addiction is not a funny thing. But like the episode in itself is like a humorous thing of like, somebody pretends like, well, I'm better than you because I don't like this. And then they fall into the same trap, proving that, is human to get involved in such activities. And I just think that that's just so funny. Like he was so like bent on the idea of like, well, gambling is like low morals. Like if you like to gamble, that's low morals. And then he got hooked on gambling, which was like, a bit funny because he was so against it. He was so against gambling to the point of he was making fun of his wife for that. Also, one thing I will say about like shows from like back then, they do make women into like dragons, and I don't really like that too much. I think that they make it seem like, there's always some like mean woman that is like um, causing you a great deal of pain and suffering, and I don't think that that's necessarily like the most fair depiction. And a lot of shows do that. The one show, Circle of Fear, does it. I can't think of the other one, but there's like another like old anthology show that also engages in similar practice where it's like, this woman is just unbearable and annoying and overbearing and causing me a great deal of stress and pain, and I can't deal with it. Like if I just got rid of her, I could be happy, and I don't really like that sentiment. I don't like that messaging. I think that is a bit um, still, again, very much nihilistic, but maybe it's just a product of the time, possibly. Because in modern TV, they don't really do that. I feel like the only TV show in modern times that have really done that I'm aware of is Every Little Raymond, where they like make Deborah into like this monster to be defeated, and I feel like they're like never really try to redeem her in any way. They just make her into like this bad guy, and some people be like, "Oh, I hate it. Just watch it, man." Like, I don't know, bro. They make it seem like she's always like this bad. That's not necessarily the case. I feel like she's just logical and practical, and then you have Mr. Weirdo doing his being a weirdo. So I don't know. That's just my thoughts. But I think honestly we are pretty much finished with this. And ow, that really hurt. But thank you if you made it this far into the video. Thank you for listening to me. This is Personal Art, 2 original characters. Again, I'm learning a lot from these color pencil drawings and stuff like that. It looks really good on the camera. But if you made it this far into the video, thank you. And hopefully you like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you again in the next one. Thanks. Bye.